So, um, I hope you were impressed by Marshall McLuhan and what he talked about there in terms of information that will be tailor-made for you and then sent to you is really a prediction of the internet. So, brilliant guy. What does he mean by the medium is the message? So, we shape our tools and then our tools shape us. Okay, so he's referring to different media types. He's referring to radio and newspaper and television. He did not live to see the internet and mobile phones. He did predict some of the things that would happen, but he thinks a lot about how the medium itself influences us, affects our culture, our society, because of its powers, because of its inherent strengths. Television, he says, it sucks us into the content. It has dramatic effect on what we think and what we believe. And what would he have said about the internet? The internet, where people can, in mobile phones, where people can take videotapes or tape on their phones things that are happening and post them almost in real time to social media sites where millions of people can view the same what's happened. So cameras are being taken to places that they've never been taken. And what does this mean? I mean, think about it. It means a lot. It has a huge effect. We shape our tools, and then our tools shape us. So, a big part of this class going forward is to understand the tools, understand the different media types, what's special and unique about them, and understand how they shape us. That's media literacy. Stanley Barron says, ability and willingness to understand, that's our author of our textbook, to understand content, pay attention, and to filter out noise, and understanding and respect for the power of media messages. This is all what media literacy involves. The ability to distinguish emotional from reasoned reactions to content and to act accordingly. There's the heart and mind again, everybody, that we talked about in the first class. The development of heightened expectations of media content. A knowledge of genre conventions and the ability to recognize when they're being mixed. Genre. We haven't heard that word before. What does that mean? Genre. If you want to, you can stop the recording and Google a definition of genre. Okay, what does that mean? 6, the ability to think critically about media messages, no matter how credible their sources. 7, a knowledge of the internal language of various media, and the ability to understand its effects, no matter how complex. So, I think this is pretty good in terms of media literacy. This is what we're going to try to do for all of us here in this class. Remember when we talked about media being information, disinformation, and misinformation. So, by the end of this class, we all want to be smarter about which is which. And this is our little template. Remember, guys, SMAMBER, source, medium, audience, message, bias, yes or no, effect, response. Smamber. And again, it's the best I could come up with so far, guys, so hang in there with me. This may change as we go forward with this class. I may decide after I read your analyses and we all kind of think about this, we need to add something else is on here, something is just not adding that much, it gets cut. So this is going to be a work in progress. So the Smamber may turn into something else. But this is what I want you to take this sheet. This is what I want you to fill in whenever I ask you to analyze a piece of mass communication. Okay, just go point by point and write down what you think. What is the source? Just what's the media vehicle? Who's the audience? Okay. So, this is what we covered in today's lecture. And it means we've pretty much done Chapter 1. I know Chapter 1 has a piece on financial things. That's advertising and subscriptions. We're going to talk about that next week. It needs to be its own chunk, and we've got enough chunks here in these first two lectures. I didn't need to add another chunk to this one. What I'm going to do now is I will be, once I get your votes, I will be analyzing and asking you to help analyze, by the way. I'll be applying this to this to, right? I'll be applying Smamberger to these three, sorry about this, mass media events, whichever one you guys pick. Okay, and I'll be recording a lecture on it. I'll be asking you to do some work on this too, right? Okay. So good, I showed it twice. Here are your assignments before our next class. So you'll find this under a folder called Week 2 in Blackboard Content. Our due dates are Fridays at midnight. So this one will be due, I think it's the 17th of September, if I'm not mistaken. You'll submit the 3 things you learned from this class and one confusing or muddy thing. I referenced this earlier, but you're going to click this link and you should be able to read this article in the December-January 2020 issue of the Atlantic Magazine Before Zuckerberg, Gutenberg. There's a class discussion on media literacy, which will be on Padlet, and you're going to post your answers to the questions and then comment on your teammates' postings. You're going to find your teammates under groups on Blackboard. Here's the media literacy question, and you need to talk to your parents or your guardians or some older people. Okay, any of those will be fine for this assignment. Okay, this is our agenda for this lecture. We reviewed the last class. Okay, we talked about these 3 concepts: one-to-many, mass communications and culture, and media literacy. The mass media event from the last class will be a separate lecture, which I'll post as soon as I get the results of the poll. And then we talked about your reading and your homework. And that, as they say, is that.